Have you ever had swamp butt?
What an interesting way to lead this off.
Yep, I thought about this already. Have you ever had swamp butt, and what is swamp butt?
Yeah, we actually used to have competitions for this in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so outside of the locker room, there was like this concrete ledge,
Mm-hmm.
and we would all sit on the concrete ledge after our workouts, after like PE,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd see who made the biggest sweat mark.
That's straight up high school
We
level.
called it swamp butt competition.
Swamp butt competition. But no, seriously, you ever had swamp butt?
Yeah,
Yeah, it sucks.
it's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope. Yeah. The reason I open with that topic is I have horrible swamp butt when I'm out working and sweating and stuff. That ties in greatly with the mitigation of my swamp butt, 55 miles.
Wow, what a TMI advertisement.
Yep. I've had some horrific chafing, and I don't know if it's just the way I sweat or the way my God made my body, but I get the swamp butt real bad, and I have been able to mitigate that with 55 miles in these horrible Florida heat. And my wife actually used those products while we were on vacation in Disney for the sunscreen, chapstick, and stuff like that.
Nice.
And it is now family approved. So,
Heck yeah.
yep, we're really enjoying 55 miles. It is a completely, I would say, it doesn't have the label, but it's organic.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely family approved, like ingredients wise.
Yeah.
There's a handful of ingredients in it. They're all normal things.
Yep.
Like if you were gonna make your own stuff, you'd use these 5 things.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to beat that.
Yeah. Really enjoyed it. If you would like to give it a try or a go, check them out on our link tree in the description of this podcast. And we'll also have their website hyperlinked. We have a discount code for them, Suffer Up, to receive a discount at checkout. So
Yes.
it will be with us on all of our runs and day-to-day activities. So check out 55 miles.
Yeah. They come in different containers too,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. Like
Yeah.
different. They've got a bar of soap looking chafing stick thing.
Yep.
And then they've got like one that's a deodorant thing.
Yep.
Well, Sydney and I just recently went on vacation and we went hiking a bunch, and we actually took that little deodorant stick looking
Mhm.
stick with us on the hike. We were able to just throw it in the backpack, and it's super handy to just like be able to whip out and get the insides of your thighs or wherever's
Mhm.
starting to get warmed up as you move.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, check out 55 miles at 55miles.com, and yeah, they've got small sample packs. It's very affordable. Give it a try and let us know what you think. So
Yep.
they're a new supporter of the channel. And while we're on the topic, we'll go ahead and hit our other sponsors. We've got Muck Ender wipes that we use now on our trails adventures around the house.
Yeah.
Ryan's wife has been wearing them out.
My house is clean thanks to Muck Enders.
Yes. So it is derived in the name Muck Enders, end to the muck, and they make a very durable towelette that comes in basically a large baby pack, like baby wipe pack type style wipe. They're clean, safe for your skin, and they'll clean the dirt, grease, and grime off of you. And if you need to do a quick trail bath, you can do that as well. So
Yeah. At the end of the race, when you need to get the 55 miles off of you,
mhm,
you can use a Muck Ender.
that's it.
Wipe it off.
So check them
They-
out as well.
Sorry. They
you're
just
fine.
came out with the little individual packets too.
Oh, awesome.
So you can throw one of those in your bag or your race pack while you're running, and then
Mhm.
you'll have it at your aid stations.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. Instead of their big pack of like 40 or something wipes, now you got the little individual option. So that's cool.
it. So check out muckenders.com, and we will have that also linked in the description of this podcast. And also the the sponsor that has been with us since the beginning is Soft Socks. You guys that have been listening know about Soft Socks, but they make a very durable compression fitting sock that is a toe sock for your feet. We have really enjoyed them, and it helps prevent some blistering and stuff that naturally happens from long hikes, walks, working, and also running. So also check them out at softsocks.com. We'll have it linked as well. Discount code SUFFER10. Awesome.
All right. What are we talking about today, Nate?
Well, today we are going to be talking about leading as a team / team leadership. So those two are kind of like, if you were to do a diagram, they're kind of two different formats or styles of leadership. But we're going to kind of just talk about leading in with the team mindset, we should say. So Ryan has been involved with a team in the Navy as well as what we do here at Suffer Up. We are a team. We work together, and our team is slowly getting bigger. We're starting to get branches, and which is exciting. But we also have been put in areas where we're responsible for leading a team. And so we're going to kind of talk about those contrasts, those differences, and some tools and just concepts of how you can effectively manage and lead a team, both with a team-driven mindset as well as leading a team. So,
yeah, the leadership principles apply up and down any chain of command. So it doesn't really matter where you're at on that. If you're in the position of a follower, of a teammate, or of a leader, whether you're leading solo or with someone else, the principles all apply to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of have to figure out or be taught, learn those three principles of being a follower, a teammate, and a leader.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a leader, but very few people learn to be a great follower first, and then an even better teammate before they can lead.
Mm-hmm. So there was something that came to mind there with, they were talking about the Navy SEALs. Like a lot of people look to the SEALs for leadership styles, tactics. There's podcasts all over the place. SEAL teams. Everything they do is based off a team. But he did a graph based off of like your super high performer versus and then trustworthiness. And so they found that they would rather have a underperformer or a standard performer, but a more trustworthy person.
Yeah.
Versus you got the stud who's like an overperformer, but has zero trustworthiness.
Yeah. I mean, you can improve somebody's performance.
Yeah.
You can train that.
Yeah.
I can't train you to be a better person.
Right.
And more trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can try, but
yeah,
that's a lot more difficult.
That's in the DNA of the individual, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like to the original point, the trustworthiness you can also say is a level of being a good follower.
Oh, yeah.
And you trust those who are, if you're trustworthy, you naturally have a tendency to trust other people.
Yeah.
And so then you're trusting that, okay, this person's in charge for this op or this, drill or whatever.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So first you got to be a follower.
Mm-hmm.
So be a great follower. How do we do that? You can't lead if you refuse to be led.
Yeah.
Followership has a bad reputation because people often think of it as like being weak or meek or, being the lesser party involved. But every great leader that you know and see and they're all following something. Even the president of the United States is ideally following the will and desires of the people that he's appointed to serve. Jesus Christ was following the instructions of the Lord God, his Father. We are all following somebody, whether we're a leader, whether we're a teammate, whether we're, the bottom of the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to follow. So you got to figure out how to be a good follower. And like you just said, you've got to trust those over you. You've got to believe in the mission and the purpose. But most importantly, you just have to kind of humble yourself and submit to being a follower, to being led.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, scripture talks about Jesus was seen as a young man. I don't know the exact age, of course, but I would imagine based off of where it was in scripture, 13, 14 years old. And he's sitting amongst like the elders listening and learning. And he's submitting himself to like just learning. And that is part of following, is learning and being teachable. It all kind of follows under being a good follower. But if you're also following along and all that kind of stuff, it's being subjective to, you might not necessarily agree, but just understanding that you're kind of in the infancy phase of leadership. But some of the most profound leaders to this day are seen learning and following because they know this person over here is going to be a little bit more effective in this area because they have a specialty, or they're doing a great job. I'm going to humble myself and let them lead. And that's all like really kind of almost, you could rename it into like servant leadership. Like you're submitting yourself to whatever's best for the cause of the operation.
Yeah. I like this verse in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 14:28. My translation says it one way, but it means the same thing. So it says, a large population is a king's glory, but without subjects, a prince is ruined. That kind of is a little wordy, in my opinion. There's another version called the Message version that puts it in a little more plain English, like we talked today. It says, the mark of a good leader is loyal followers. Leadership is nothing without a following. Both those are saying the same thing. It's that we need followers to be a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't be a follower, then the leader that is in charge of you, you're stripping them of power by not being a good follower.
Yeah.
You're not helping them or the team or the mission or the cause if you can't follow the instructions of those over you.
Yeah, definitely. So with point 1 that we have here is being a great follower. How can you equate that to how we operate here at Suffer Up?
Yeah. Well, man, I think that both of us do a great job at kind of pushing and pulling and understanding when one person either has a strong opinion on something or feels very called or led in a certain direction, and we know when to push it and when to pull back and say, okay, let's pursue that. Like, you clearly are passionate about this, or you clearly feel strongly about that. Like, for instance, our Punch Out Ultra that we put on back in February, I'm sorry. In January, though, we were still on the fence of whether or not this thing was going to happen.
Yeah.
And we were low on signups. We were low on money.
Yeah.
And it was about the time that we needed to start paying stuff out for this race to officially happen. And we had to make a decision one way or another. And Nate and I had discussed a certain date that we were going to decide by. And that date came. And we were like, all right, if we don't have this many signups, we can't do this thing.
Just from a budgetary standpoint.
Yeah. Money-wise, either, somebody's going to be coming out of pocket here or this thing is not going to happen. And so that day came, and we didn't have the funds. We didn't have the signups. And that was one of those times that I felt extremely called and led to go, hey, I felt like God was saying, hold on, guys, I'm gonna pull through.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it's Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it was. I was like, Nate, let's give it till Friday. Let's hit it hard, try and get these signups, and trust that God's gonna come through for us. And Nate did a great job in that instance of being like, all right, man, I trust you. I'm gonna pull back, and like, even though we discussed something, I'm gonna follow what your gut's saying, and we're gonna do this. And so we wait till Friday. Friday rolls around. We've got more than enough signups.
We're like 2 or 3 over what we absolutely needed.
What we absolutely had to have, yeah. And we were able to continue on with the race at that point because we had met our minimums, actually exceeded them a little bit. And in the end, the last 2 weeks leading up to the race, we ended up selling out the race, and it blew up in the very final days. Yeah. And that never would have happened had I not felt led and called to wait longer, and had Nate not chosen to agree with me or not to fight me on it, even though he had every right to, because we had already set a date. We knew the numbers. I mean, Nate took a big chance right there, but he trusted me and put himself in that position of follower for those few days. Like, all right, man, I'll follow you into the fire. Yeah. If this bites us in the butt, it bites us. But he did it.
Yeah.
And like that's a really good example to me of our relationship of follower there.
Yeah. But if you're listening to this and you are a punch outer, please don't do that next year. Just sign up earlier, please, so we can get your name on the roster.
Please. It'll make getting t-shirts a lot easier.
Yeah, it was an absolute mad dash to get it. But it worked, and had a great turnout, and it was awesome. But yeah, no, the art of following. There's so many people I can tell, definitely in the fire service, that they want to jump rank so fast.
Oh yeah.
They want to we call it chasing the brass. Like they just want to weigh down that collar with brass, and they're in a hurry to promote. And it's like, you are not ready for that. And that's coming from a fireman of 13 years now. But I look at some of these people that are getting promoted, and I'm like, you're not ready for this, man. And you haven't even learned how to follow and take directions and build the experience to then lead. Like, just because you have the title of lieutenant or captain or chief or whatever does not mean that you are the be all end all. And
yeah, I think a lot of people confuse knowledge with leadership ability.
Yeah.
Like, just because you can ace a test, and the military had the same problem, where, if you can score high enough on a test, then you advance, you promote to the next level. It's like, man, just because you know the information, that doesn't just automatically make you qualified to lead others in it.
Yeah.
You could know everything there is to know about the job, but have a horrible delivery and a horrible relationship management with others and get promoted. And that's not going to serve anyone well.
Right.
You're still going to be great at the job, and that's good for you, but are you going to be able to pass that information on to others? Are you going to be able to help others when they're struggling?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, and that ties into what we're going to talk about later, is just being patient in the process. Like, learn to follow well, and the rest will kind of work itself out. But it also boils down to, who are you following? So when you're in the process of following, make sure that you're taking notes of good, bad, ugly from those leaders. And I have learned more from following bad leaders than I have from following good leaders.
Yeah.
So if you're in a season right now where you're following, or you're, a subordinate, if you will, and you are not happy with your leadership, the scripture is very clear about also obeying your masters and to respect them, respect the title. You don't have to agree with everything that they're doing or saying or how they're leading, but you have a huge impact as a follower. And I know this isn't where we're going with this episode, but I'll just put this little statement in there of, you have the power as a follower to lead informally. You can help that leader by being a good follower.
Yeah. I mean, like that verse in Proverbs said, leadership is nothing without a following.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're not there being a follower, then what power does the leader have?
Exactly.
What good can they accomplish?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first you got to be a good follower.
Yep.
Then what?
Be an outstanding teammate.
You got to be an outstanding teammate. Leadership is not about standing above people, or like climbing the totem pole or climbing the ranks like Nate was just describing. It's about standing beside them. Great teams aren't made up of talented people. They're made up of people who communicate, trust, they assume good intent with one another, and they stay humble, and they cover each other's weaknesses. They complement each other, we'll say. You're not looking for teammates that are exactly like you. You're looking for teammates that fill the gap in your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to find somebody who is I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that's fine.
I don't need to find somebody who's a great swimmer. I need to find somebody who's really tall and a fast runner.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you think of like a team aspect, right? You have this group of people, and they all have a common goal or a common mission or a common objective that they're trying to achieve, whatever that may be. Insert corporate America, fire service. The military has a bunch of capacities when it comes to, you all have operations. And sometimes your operations are just day to day, making sure things are squared away, making sure that everything is functioning the way that it should. But if you look around at your life, a majority of the things that we do in life are team-based.
Yeah.
Everything from running your house, that's
Marriage.
you and your wife.
Yeah.
That's a huge team aspect. The fire service, I go on and on about that, just like what highly effective teams look like.
Yeah.
And the ineffective teams, it's very obvious.
Pause on that for a second. think about your life right now and think about an area that if you didn't lead, it would all fall apart.
There's very few.
I can barely think of any.
Yeah.
I mean, like, your household would fall apart dramatically, but if you died tomorrow, your wife would carry on, or your husband would carry on without you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would still keep going.
Yeah.
Business, your business, if you're a business owner, the business might go under, but people would still get their needs met by other businesses.
Yeah.
The world would keep spinning.
Yeah.
You're in the military, fire service, like, the job will continue without you.
Yeah.
There are virtually no leadership positions where it is all you.
Yeah.
Being a team leader is everything.
Yeah.
You're always working with somebody, and there's always somebody counting on you, but also you're always counting on someone else. So that's finding other people that serve the same mission, but in a different role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If as a team member, so this is like the Venn diagram here is getting really big, but in my brain, as a team member, you're following the leader, but you're also leading the guy next to you. And if everybody in a team looked to the right or to the left and put their needs, meaning the needs to the men or women on the right or left, above their own every single time, every team would be highly functioning, because you're constantly looking to not only serve, but help the person next to you to be able to accomplish the goal of the team. But in order to be that outstanding teammate, it's being able to communicate. Like, you've already said this, but communication is key.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not effectively communicating, then you're not, like, every problem that ever comes up, I don't say every, because try not to use like definitive words, but most problems when they occur is because of poor communication.
Yeah. They could either be avoided completely or at least helped by better communication.
Right.
I agree with that. One of the big things that I said before was assuming good intent. If you have a teammate and something doesn't sit quite right with you about what they did, if you automatically assume that they had the mission's best interest and your best interest at heart when they did whatever they did, that really takes the fire out of your eyes or the wind out of your sail to get mad or upset with somebody, versus if you were like, why did they do that? They're trying to sabotage the mission, or they're only thinking about themselves, or whatever. Like, if you go into something with a negative mindset, that's going to taint everything from that point on. As a good teammate, you need to look at your teammates around you and think, they're here for the same reason I am. They're trying to better this team and help the mission as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just go into it with a positive viewpoint on whatever's going on, that will go a really long ways.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing about being a good teammate, though, is just picking up the slack where your teammates fall. You shouldn't try and become me. I shouldn't try and become you. We serve different roles here at Suffer Up, but we serve the same mission. Mm-hmm. Our mission statement doesn't change. Our values don't change.
Yeah.
We don't have to do, I don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything. You just have to own your part of the mission, and I have to do the same.
Yeah.
In the Bible, in Exodus 17, you see where Moses had to hold his arms up so that the army would win the battle, basically. And if he was holding his arms up, they would be winning. If his arms would fall, they would start losing. I wish everything was that easy and we could just hold our arms up and win.
Yeah.
But it's not quite. But they quickly figured out that, hey, man, when your arms fall down, we start losing. So Moses is standing there with his arms up, and his arms get tired. And you see Aaron and Hur come up and hold his arms up for him. Mm-hmm. His teammates come up on either side of him and help him where he's falling short.
Yeah.
And they eventually put rocks under his elbows so that they can't fall down anymore. Like, he can't do it himself. He can't do it alone. And that's the power of teammates right there, is that they can lift you up when you fall.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and ultimately by being that type of team member, you're helping your leader so that the leader can now be more effective at leading and managing and organizing and doing all those things. But the leader should also have that same follower mindset of like, I'm going to help my men or women.
Yeah, or that same team
in return.
that
Come
same
back down,
team mindset. Yeah,
Mhm.
if the leader says I need to get these 5 things done, 2 people start doing a few things, other people start doing other things. Like there's nothing stopping the leader from getting in there and getting his hands dirty and helping the team.
Right.
Just because he set the goal doesn't mean that he can't be a part of making it happen.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there another like quote or thought is like, you don't have to do everything yourself. Most people, especially in our line of work, is like we're type A people. We want to do everything. We want to be everything. We're go constant all the time. But in the fire service, most fires that don't go well boil down to a couple things. One's communication, which we've already talked about. But the other thing is called assignment or task discipline. So if you've got the first due engine comes up, they typically, work in house fire, they're going to stretch, they're going to do a general recon survey, 360 as we call it, and then they're making a tactical decision based off of that 360 and information that they got of the house and bystanders. And then they're taking the line inside with a, probable location of where the fire's at. They're searching the space from the front door to the fire room, and that's their role. The second due engine or apparatus is either going to stretch a backup line or they're going to go in for a search. The third due engine is going to catch water because we need water. The driver of the first due apparatus, the driver of the second due apparatus, the driver of the first due aerial, they all have jobs. The nozzlemen on the first due, second, and third, they all have very specific jobs. Ironsmen, very specific jobs. Officers, very specific jobs. So you see where I'm going with this.
Everybody's got a specific job.
Everybody has a specific job. But if the third due apparatus just says, nah, I don't want to get stuck on the hydrant. I want to go play. I want to go up there and I want to do this.
I want to be the hero.
They want to be, think they're going to save the day when there's already 8 people on scene.
Yeah.
And so then they go up and they don't catch the hydrant. Well, guess what? That team just screwed the entire team of all the responding units because now we don't have positive water. Now the fourth due apparatus, which has a set of responsibilities, they now have to catch the hydrant. And now you're taking those responsibilities away from the fourth due. So then now there's a ball drop, and now we call it falling dominoes. And so now the dominoes are starting to fall because you didn't stay disciplined to your task.
Yeah. In the military, we had a similar, you guys call it falling dominoes. We call it Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
When all the holes line up in the cheese, something bad happens.
Oh, 100%.
So like there's always going to be holes in every scenario, everything. Like there's going to be gaps, but occasionally the 2 pieces of cheese will overlap and the holes all the way through.
Yep.
And that's a bad day.
Yep.
But it's typically because of exactly that. People, little things not being done right or people not doing their exact roles properly. And then you see a major issue come from that because, like you said, the dominoes have fallen or the Swiss cheese holes have stacked up.
So apply that to your life. If you're listening to this, what is the medial task that you just cannot stand doing that you do every day in your job? Say it's your responsibility for cleaning the toilets. Nobody wants to clean a toilet, but you have to clean a toilet because it's nice to sit on a clean throne, but a porcelain throne. But that's an important job because if a customer comes into your business to go sit down the toilet and there's poop and pee stains on the toilet, that's pretty disgusting for one. And two, it just shows that like, wow, these people don't care about their facility. So you doing the job within your responsibility of cleaning the toilet, although you don't want to, although it's not fun, it's not glorious, it is extremely important to the overall mission of that business or operation. So, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Well, that rolls us right into our next point here of leading through service. So we talked about being a good follower, being a good teammate, and all of that comes back to serving the mission and serving the team and ultimately serving the leader or the people below you if you are the leader. This is where leadership truly grows. It's not because you demand that people respect you, it's because you've shown them that you're willing to get in there, get your hands dirty. You're willing to serve them, and that builds trust.
Mm-hmm.
They learn to trust you through seeing you serve them. If I'm sure we can all imagine or have seen a movie or something where like a business owner does really well, gets really rich, and doesn't take care of his people, doesn't pay them enough, and like they want to revolt. They get mad, they quit. There's an uprising against that. It's because that guy was doing great because of his people, but never turned around and gave it back to them. And conversely, we can imagine the opposite, where a guy, does excellent in business and gives everybody bonuses because of that. Which leader do you want to follow?
Right.
I want to follow the guy that gives back to his people, that's willing to get in there and work with them and serve them and demonstrate the qualities, the values that they're preaching. I want to see that in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. And so what would you say to somebody, like when you talk about servant leaderships, eventually you get to a point in leadership where your responsibility is no longer cleaning the toilet. I use that analogy. Your responsibility no longer is to take out the trash.
Yeah.
Your responsibility is to run a highly effective team. What's a way that somebody can, if you're in that position, that you can gain respect and trust? Because I hear it all the time, like, oh, he never helps us with that. Well, that's really not his job.
Yeah. I think number one, remind people that, that used to be my job.
Yeah.
I started there. I used to be the guy that cleaned the toilet and took out the trash. Through lots of hard work and years of service here,
mm-hmm.
I was able to move up to this position. And now, so remind them of what that used to be you, and then define your responsibilities now. Now I'm entrusted with doing X, Y, and Z. One of those things is still making sure the toilets get clean, but I don't have to do it anymore because I have these other responsibilities.
Right.
I think a lot of times people look at leaders and they're like, oh, you're not doing anything, man. Like, you're just sitting around. Well, no, they may not be cleaning the toilets. They may be telling you to clean the toilets, but that's because they've got 10 other things on their plate that are much bigger and much more important than cleaning the toilet. If in your analogy there of the toilet at a gas station or something, for instance, that is important. You'd already described why that's important. But if they don't get gas at the gas station to sell, then the whole place shuts down. What's the point of it being there?
Right.
So that leader's job may be to tell you to clean the toilet and also to order the gas, make sure that it shows up on time and that the pumps are working.
So that you have a job to clean the toilets.
And that there's food in the store and beverages and all that. Like, they're responsible for making it all run.
Yeah.
So they don't have time to clean the toilet because they got to be on the phone with the gas company and
right.
whatever,
Yeah.
So I think defining your responsibilities, oftentimes leaders don't want to explain themselves. They're like, just do it because I said so.
Right.
I think that's a really poor leadership tactic. I think that it goes a long way to tell your people below you why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because they just don't know.
Right.
They don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't, oftentimes they can't see past that toilet.
Right.
They're like, well, you never do it.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
Yeah. And I had a kind of a thought to spin off of that was, if you're the new guy or you're, a janitor or whatever, like your job is your job is important. So I'm always cautious of, like, in a team-based thing, of the leader saying something like, well, I have something to do that's more important, because that immediately puts, like, no merit or weight on what that individual is doing.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is important to the overall mission, the overall goal of insert business, team, whatever. However, as a leader, you are responsible for making sure that the toilets are cleaned and that the floors are swept and mopped and trash is taken out. When those jobs are not being done, you have not led the team well because somebody has not done their job. Yeah. And so what the job of the leader now is, you now take responsibility for the toilet not being clean. And so how do you mitigate that? My response, and how, like, I've done it in the past, is they know that it's their responsibility to clean the toilet, and it wasn't cleaned or it wasn't cleaned well, I'm going to go in and clean the toilet. And then if they see me cleaning it, they either have one or two responses. They're either like, oh, I'm sorry, man, I should have gotten that. Let me get it. That's a great response. And if it's like just haphazardly, oh, sweet, he did it. This goes into like, you don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
But you're proving a point of like, hey, this needs to be done. And then emphasize like, hey, man, just so you know, please make sure the toilets are clean by this time every day. And then you're leading by example because you went ahead and cleaned the toilets. Like, I already did it, but just please make sure. And now you're leaving that lasting impression on that person of like, your job is important. It needs to be done because the leader is doing this. But you just have to demonstrate that sometimes, because I'm telling you, some people, they don't put in preface or importance on cleaning the toilet.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about toilets a lot here, but like it's one of the first things that came to mind of like a medial task that needs to be done every day.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
So to answer your question, I would say, based on what we both said, I would summarize that as, if somebody's not wanting to do their task because they feel like, it's a crappy task.
Yeah.
Cleaning the toilet.
See what you did there.
You can remind them that used to be you.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell them about the current responsibilities that you have, which include that toilet getting clean, but all these other things also, and try and help them see that leadership comes with more responsibility.
Yeah.
It doesn't just come with, time to slack off and more pay. But if those two things don't work, then you get down there and you do the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to suck,
Yep.
because you put in your time doing that, but you humble yourself to do it anyways. Just like Jesus washing disciples' feet in the Bible. He didn't do that because he had to. He did that because he chose to.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose to do that to serve his people, to bless them and be kind. And I think that if we get to a point in our job or our lives where we're required to do something that may feel beneath us as a leader, we need to humble ourselves and do it with those same intentions that Jesus washed people's feet with.
Yeah.
Do it out of love, out of kindness, not to prove a point or not to get them, like not to manipulate them and get them to understand that this is the importance, but just understand that it's still serving the mission. It has to be done. And I want to do it. I get to do this with my life.
Yeah.
I get to serve people in this way.
Yeah.
And know what? Somebody didn't clean the toilet. That's okay. I get to.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, that's true. No, very good. So that kind of goes into our last and final point that we have here is keep switching hats. So switching your responsibilities and being good at all the things.
Yeah.
Is like,
follow, be a teammate, be a servant.
Mm-hmm. And rotating through all those points. And, even if you're in a position, when I thought of that, or when I see that, I think of, if I'm a leader of a team, but I have Carl over here that is really good at whatever. Say he, like on the side, he is a tree guy, he does tree work, like all this stuff. And we go on a call and there's a down tree. Who do I want running the saw? I'm going to put him on the saw.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put him in charge of the whole thing. Or maybe I don't put him on the saw. Maybe I put him in charge.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hey, man, we got somebody trapped under a tree. You know trees better than I do. I want you to stand back with a 1,000-foot view, and I want you to lead this op.
I'm going to hold the saw. You tell me where to cut.
Exactly.
You lead this thing.
Yep, you lead it. And I think that goes into, now you're putting yourself as the leader. You're understanding strengths and weaknesses, and you're now putting yourself in a humble, we talked about humility, and now you're following. You're still in charge because that's your title and your responsibility, but you're entrusting those leadership responsibilities on somebody who is very skilled in this area.
Yeah.
And then you're able to now be the worker bee, and you're now the one dragging limbs. Maybe you're a limb dragger and you're letting the new guy cut, but that guy's right behind him saying like, okay, you're going to cut this limb, you're going to start at the top, and you're going to roll the bar down, and then you're going to cut for undercut, and all those things that come into chainsaw work.
What I think is really cool about that scenario and important is that in the end, you're still the leader. Like you're still the officer or whatever in charge of the scene that you just set. So all the responsibility does come back to you still. If somebody screws up, if that guy that you entrusted to lead this thing doesn't do a good job, it all falls on your shoulders, not his.
Not his.
Just because you said, hey, you run this. So you still have the burden of responsibility and leadership, but you know when to pass the baton, and you trust your people enough. You trust your team to take it and do good.
Mm-hmm.
That's knowing your team.
Right.
That's being a good leader and being able to be a follower, be a servant.
Yeah.
I love that, because there's so much trust involved in that, both ways, up and down the chain of command.
Right. And I mean, for those of you who know me, I'm gonna brag on my lieutenant for a little bit. He knows that I have a knowledge or skill base in certain areas that I'm like better than others in. And so when we go to trainings and like we're hosting stuff, he knows that like when I have something to say, he knows that there's probably an experience or a knowledge or something that's there that why I'm speaking up. So he does not like interject or anything like that to what I'm saying. But he also knows that when I mess up, or like if it's an area that's like I'm not comfortable with this, I'm going to take a full like a physical step back of like teach me. I've never ran this call. I don't know anything about this. We'll figure it out together. And so like he's really good at like when it's time to let me do whatever I need to do. He does a really good job at standing back and like I don't need to be the one to say this all the time. Let it come from somebody else. He's going to essentially say the same thing I'm going to say, just he's going to say it a little bit differently based off his experiences. So that's bringing the whole team together.
Yeah, and that's building the people below you. That's building those leaders up by allowing them to...
Developing.
Yeah, and by allowing them to speak up and take ownership in things, you're helping develop and grow them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We haven't talked a whole lot about running in this episode, so...
No, that's by design.
Time for me to do that now.
We understand some of y'all don't want to move your bodies, so...
Well, I'm going to use that as an example because it got me thinking about like ultra running, and like sometimes you're the runner, and if you're into running and you became an ultra runner and all you ever did was run races and be the runner, you're really missing out.
Mm-hmm.
You are missing out big time, because there's a bunch of other jobs like not necessarily jobs, like they're not going to pay you, but a bunch of other tasks associated with running an ultra that it's really good experience to get in those other tasks also. So you can be the runner, you can be the crew, you can be the pacer that runs with the runner, you can just be a fan, simply be a fan, someone on the sidelines cheering them on
with a cowbell.
Yeah, with a cowbell. You can be a race director. I mean, like there's so many different facets and aspects to a run that you can be involved in, and it makes you such a better person and such a better well-rounded runner and athlete when you experience all those different facets.
Yeah.
That if all you ever did was be the runner, you would be missing out.
Yeah.
That would kind of suck.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I have learned so much just through being a pacer and being a part of the crew and the team.
Yep.
It's incredible. You think that you're going to learn everything while you're running, but everybody
so much
gets to
behind
learn.
the scenes.
Yeah, so much behind the scenes, and honestly, sometimes it's more fun to be behind the scenes and be a part of that side of things, because you get to see things and know things are going on that you never would have known as the runner.
You're not the one going through it.
Yeah. You also
the whole mission.
You get to watch everybody else suffer, and you're like, I'm going to
fresh.
sit in the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, the whole mission on those ultras is to get the runner across the finish line at all costs, whatever that is.
Maybe not all costs.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a little extreme, but
it's just a run.
It is just a run, but like your job is to get them across the finish line. And whether that means making an inconvenient trip to Culver's to go get a burger for the runners, like that was clutch. Like, yeah, thank you, Stacy. I think that's now my new race is a Culver's burger. Like I loved it. It just hit the spot.
It didn't occur to me until just now, but that worked for me on the Death by 5K a year and a half ago.
I'm telling you, Culver's
burgers, man.
Culver's, you want to be a sponsor of the Suffer Up podcast channel, please reach out to us at, not just kidding.
Burgers and custard.
Burgers and custard, baby. I love me some Culver's. But yeah, that
Wisconsin
sometimes
boys coming out.
Oh yeah, good cheese, But yeah, it's doing those little tasks of like, oh, they really want a burger. Okay, I'll go get them a burger. Yeah. Or I don't want to pop blisters. But
I was going to say, I don't want to touch their dirty feet, but
I got to do it.
We'll serve the team.
Because right now the runner can't bend down and touch their toes. So
yeah,
Yeah, there's so many little medial tasks. Running the massage gun on someone's quads because they're locked up while they eat.
Thank you.
Feeding them food while they're laid up in a chair, half asleep.
Or while they're still walking on the trail.
Yeah, here, eat. So it's ugly, but that's part of what makes a good team is just looking out for each other.
Yeah. If you only know how to lead, you'll eventually fail.
Yeah.
You have to follow, serve your team, and lead when needed. If you do that, people will trust you anywhere.
Yep. 100%. And when one of your teammates is down, it's time to pick them up because there's going to be a day when you're down.
Lift their arms up.
And there's going to be a day when you're down, and you're going to have to help pick them up. I have to say this, and then we can kind of close. When we do group workouts at the station, I have a few rules, and I've said it on the podcast before. You can quit at any time. If you quit, you have to say the words, "I quit." And then we'll always have one more task, whatever that is, outside of quitting. But one other rule I have is if you finish your reps early in the workout and the other person is visually struggling, like say you did your 15 reps and they're on rep 5, you will get back on your face and do however many reps they have left, and you'll do it with them. Because what that does is it encourages them to continue on when they feel discouraged that you are currently beating them, that it's not a competition. And 2, it shows that they're down right now. You now have to pick up when they're down, because there's going to be a day when you're down and out and they're going to have to pick you up. And I know you're going to want that encouragement when it's your turn to be down and out. And so adopting that mindset of we are in this together, the work has to get done, and we're going to finish it together as a team. And by training like that in your day-to-day lives, when it comes game day, you'll be able to deploy those mindset concepts quite well. So
thank you.
Yep.
That's a good example also. So listeners, we'll ask you, where in your life do you wear these 3 hats? Where do you need to wear each hat differently? Where do you follow? Where are you a teammate? Where do you serve from leadership? Who on your team might need some extra support? Who might need their arms raised up? When are you willing to ask others to raise your arms up? Or where do you need to ask others to raise your arms up? Are you in need of assistance and you need to humble yourself for your team to help you? Where is God asking you to step up and lead? Only you guys can answer these questions, but I hope that this message has given you a lot to think about and benefited you guys. Just remember that the world will tell us to climb the ladder as fast as we possibly can. But here at Suffer Up, we think the ladder's upside down, or the pyramid, we'll say, is upside down. You're not trying to race to the top to be the leader. You need to learn to follow. That is your foundation. You need to learn to serve your team. And then when it's your turn, you lead with humility and not ego. You lead with that servant mindset.
That's good. Our mission here at Suffer Up is to encourage and lead others to suffer with a purpose. We try to help others, or we strive to help others level up in life with an emphasis on spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. These are the voices of Nate and Ryan. We appreciate you guys listening to this episode. Tune in every Monday for a new episode here at Suffer Up. And also follow us on the social platforms to keep up to date with the events and things we have coming up. Thank you guys. Go forth, lead, follow, and just be a good person. We love y'all. And as always,
Suffer up.